What's up,
Yeah,
Ricky?
I'm on cloud nine right now. I'm a huge fan, like a
Thank you,
massive
man.
fan.
Thanks.
So
Can you hear me and all that? You're all
yes,
good? You
sir.
can hear
You
me?
can hear me too, right?
I do. I hear you super well. What's up,
Perfect.
man? That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
My brother introduced me to you whenever you were on Sons of Anarchy, and I've been a huge fan ever since. My brother and I really reconnected over that series, and just ever since then, I've been listening to the podcast.
Yeah,
I
I was
love
just
it.
gonna say I'm watching it for the first time now, and it really is the beginning of everything. And to watch it with Tig like we are
Yeah.
and having so much fun doing it, it really is like it harkens me back to like a different time in the business and in television and all that. So like I say over and over and repeat, it's like, I get it now. I get why so many people liked it, because I am so frustrated and happy and exhilarated when I watch it. And it's fun. Poor
It's one of
Jace.
the most exhausting television shows to watch, and like in a good way,
Exhausting.
obviously. But you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it takes you on that emotional roller coaster all the way to the end.
Well, thank you, brother, because that
Yeah.
was cool that he did that. Yeah.
I like to start the question or start my interviews off with a softball. What was your first job in the movie and TV industry?
Great question. I started like under the bottom. If there was a bottom, there was like, I was the bottom of the bottom. So I started in New York and I was like passing out headshots. And I think the first thing that actually paid me money, if you wanted to say it like that, not like the first thing because I was doing anything for free, like, any industrials or like whatever I can do, waiting on commercial casting lines for like 3 hours just to like get my picture taken and hope that I would get a job out of 4,000 people. I did these karaoke videos for MTV, which I know probably don't exist anymore because it was back when MTV used to buy like a karaoke machine. And the only video I did was closing time. And I was in the video of the karaoke machine, not the closing time video,
No, that's
but of the
incredible.
karaoke machine. Yeah.
Do you have that video?
No, never
Oh
seen it.
my God, we need to find that.
We need to find that. We need to find that. Yeah, because it's probably utterly ridiculous. It's like me rolling around Central Park and like, it's just horrendous in all ways, I'm sure, because I didn't know anything. That was like the first thing. And then kind of about the same time that I got cast in this independent film that never kind of came out. It's just a whole bunch of like nothing for a long time.
Escape the field. As six strangers wake up trapped in an endless cornfield only to discover something mysterious that's hunting them. You played Tyler.
Sure.
What attracted you to this role?
Couple of things. I knew the director really well. He had produced a film that I did. So we spent some time in Bulgaria when we did this film and became really friendly. We're both runners and we would run every day and do all that. And then it was legitimately the first job during the pandemic. Like the pandemic hit and I wasn't sure if I would ever work again. Like I didn't know what was going to happen. I think we all were kind of in this unease at the end of March, a couple of years back. And it was like, well, what happens now? And this was, I believe, if I'm not correct, one of the first films back in the entire world. So once that I knew, oh, we're going to do this film, it's going to be super small. It's going to be super like, just a bunch of quaint people. I've known Shane for a while. I did a movie with him back in the day. Emerson, the director, like I just said, we had worked together. And we're going to go to Hamilton, Ontario in a cornfield. I was like, all right, let's go. And I just, again, I wanted to be sure like movies were still happening. And so it wound up being a really incredible experience because, I got to hang out with all my friends and, but it was definitely what drew me the most was like, it was kind of an experiment in both ways. I had really never done a film that was all set in one location, basically. And it was the first thing back.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was talking to Shane yesterday about it, about how he said the cast was so personable because of it was you guys, this set, what you did. So what was that preparation like for you? Because even your characters don't have a lot of background. Like, how do you prepare for something like that?
Well, it's like, sometimes talent's great, but like luck and timing is everything. And, this was like, okay, we had to get to Canada 2 weeks early. We had to be locked in the hotel, technically, right? We couldn't even leave. So we're doing rehearsal after rehearsal after rehearsal. So we're hanging out. It's only us. We can only speak to us, right? So it's like, it just fosters this mentality. It was similar to what happened on that show True Story that I did, where you're together, and because you're together, you're getting kind of the old school way of Hollywood, which used to be rehearsals and spending time together and actually going over the material and asking questions. And so we got to do all that, and we got to spend a lot of time together. So it was very like, okay, we're going to do this. And this is, again, it's back in that day where we were testing 5 days a week. It wasn't just, it was the swab going all the way down. It was very like we were all just kind of figuring it out. And that made us get so close, which I think, and again, I've only seen the film once, but I think that I know that it made us have each other's back more, that we were more like, hey, we're this, it's us against the world right now with this. So let's just see what goes on. And that's really important. And I've taken that with me now on every film since, because it was kind of missing for a minute. So it was almost like that film brought that back for me, where it was like, I'm asking for rehearsals. I'm asking for everybody to hang out. I'm asking for the chemistry readings. I'm asking. And it really all started with the field.
That's fantastic. You brought up True Story, which literally my favorite show of last year. You were incredible. Awesome. And like that performance was brilliant. You were brilliant in that. You spoke about your relationship with Emerson. This is obviously his feature film directorial debut. And I know you say you got to know him off the set in a different scenario, but what about working with him on this as a director, as the writer and stuff like that?
Emerson's one of my closest friends. What I love about him is that he has a vision. And I think that in this business that you have to go with your vision, regardless if people don't agree with it. So it's happened to me countless times where before I had confidence in myself as an artist, I would listen to other people that weren't necessarily in the position to tell me, and I would then regret it after it. Emerson he storyboards everything. He has the entire scene played out in his head. The only thing he's constrained by, which is what everybody's constrained by in the independent market, is money, right? Time, right? So it's like, we had an ending we were supposed to shoot that we didn't, right? It's like you're always constrained by other things, but his vision is extremely clear. And again, when you're working, and I say this ad nauseum, is when you're working with writer directors, it's one source. You're going to one fountain to drink. It's like, what do I do and why am I doing it? And it's like, that's so important, because it's not like the director saying, I want to do this. And then the writer going, well, I don't know. I wrote it and I imagined it this way. And it's like, well, who am I listening to here? And it's that one thing. So what drew me to Emerson is his efficiency of thought. Like this is what I need, because I'm a facilitator as an actor. It's like, I'm going to come up with all my stuff and we're going to do that all before a project. But on the day, what do you want me to do? I can do anything. What do you want me to do? That's kind of how I am.
So the movie plays like one big escape room. Have you ever done one?
Yeah, I just did for the first time in Austin before that movie. I had never even heard of them. My wife is like, apparently, I came to find out, like an escape room fanatic before. I didn't know this when she used to live in Austin, but we live in Austin. And she was like, what? You've never done one? I was like, I've never even heard of one. So we went and did it, and it was really enjoyable. And then fortunately, I got to go do the film, so it made more sense. So once the film had come to me, we got to do one. And now and then it made sense, because when I first got it, I was like, Emerson was telling me about it, and I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, escape rooms. I was like, I don't even know what you mean. And I didn't know this was like a thing. So now I've done it a ton of times, and I get a little impatient after a little while, but I get it. It's interesting.
Yeah, I was talking to Shane about it because like he was like, I'm very competitive. I'm very competitive too. When you do them, it's like, and then if you have somebody with you that's not really holding their weight, then you get really frustrated, and it's like, all right, guys. And then if you
I'm
like,
that person.
Have you ever failed at doing them?
Yeah, I'm that person who's not holding their weight. I get so bored so easy. Like my whole thing is like, what are we doing this for? And everybody's like, well, because we want to win. And I'm like, what are we winning? Like, what? Who cares? Like, what are we doing here? Like, why do we care so much? Again, when it's unlike the field is life or death.
Right. Yeah.
You know, if I'm going to downtown Austin on 6th Street to do an escape room, it's not life or death. It just ends. So I'm like, who cares? I just want to go out. I just want to leave.
But yeah, you get to the point where it's like you're at 15 minutes in, oh, this is not going to happen. Can we just leave now? Like,
I don't even want to think this much. I just want to leave. What's the point?
Obviously, the last few years have been very trying, and creatively speaking, I'm sure they have been as well. What's something you learned about yourself throughout this pandemic?
It's reinvigorated my love of everything with this business. It's changed so many ways that I was looking at it and doing things. It's brought about so many things that I've now taken with me. I isolate by nature, as an artist. Like when I'm playing characters, I like to like not talk to anybody and I like to just like kind of stay away while I'm doing it, because I want to do service to the job I'm doing. And while that might not sound enjoyable to other people, it's so enjoyable to me. Like, I just like love going down the road of, what they eat and what they drink and like what they're doing and what their outside life is of the character, that I have so much fun doing that. And what this time has given me is afforded me to isolate. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I'm playing characters, because now it's kind of like, oh, he's not like the weird guy. He just stays in his room, like when he's not working, or doesn't go out to dinner with people, or doesn't like, whatever. Cause I'm just like, hey, see you later. Because I love everything between action and cut with this business. But I kind of, unfortunately, I kind of repudiate like every other bit of behavior that comes with it. So I've always been like that. And now this has just really helped me kind of not be the oddball, where it's like, oh, he's just, being safe and being, whatever. And it's like, I'm actually in the room, like, if I'm playing a character from 1987, like watching like YouTube videos from 1987, I just enjoy that so much. So it's been that. Also, I love, the rehearsal stuff. So while it was really trying, and I think mainly for our business, this business was, there's a lot of people. Acting is not a solo sport. No matter what these award shows try to tell you, it's so far not a solo sport. There's so many people. It's a team sport, and there's so many people involved, and there's so many people. Like when someone says, oh, you were great in that role, I'm like, yeah, me and 40 other people who helped me get to that role. The makeup, the hair, the costume, the lighting, the gaffers, the DPs. So it's like, what this has shown me is that, like, I never thought it would, I was trying to figure out how it would come back safely. And Field was the first one that showed me, like, we can do this and we can do it efficiently, and it's just made me had such an incredible love for kind of what I do, because I think now more than ever, we just want to entertain and tell stories.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, I talked to Micah Ealy about The Devil You Know, which you were also in as well. Yeah. And he was talking to me about how, like, the production, it made him appreciate the production more. He says, I've been on the sets of Fast and the Furious where you have 200 people. And I've been on a set like The Devil You Know where you have these small, he says, but you have to credit all of those people, right?
Yeah, it's like 5 people on Devil You Know. Yeah, that's my literally my closest friend in the world is the writer director, and he was from Sons and Luke Cage and True Story. He was the showrunner on True Story. That was another one that it was like, hey, we're just gonna get a bunch of people together and we're gonna shoot this movie, and it's like, we're linking arms and we're doing this, right? And we're gonna figure it out. And yeah, it just makes you appreciate, but then again, on the 200, you know, the big giant movies, the Zack Snyder's, the Army of the Dead stuff, where there's like everyone, it's still a personal nature because it's really, it depends on who's at the top, right? Zack keeps everything super personal, even when they're giant films, right? True Story was really personal, even though it was, you know, this much bigger show compared to other stuff. I think it really just depends on the people. I've been fortunate, super fortunate, and maybe by my own doing that, I just, no matter what a project is, if like, and I've learned my lesson even recently, if it's like bad behavior or a bad person, I'm just like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm just not doing it. And that's why I kind of meet with everyone before it. So I think that it's shown me this massive appreciation for what goes on here, because there are so many people working so much harder than I do and working so hard at it and that really rely on it. So I just want to keep making as many projects as possible to make sure that everybody keeps doing what they love.